Hello there. Once again, I find myself in a rather iffy situation with yourself, Annika Burchell. Um, but whoever this rat is, I care not. But I just wish that this rat who has told you this information, uh, I hope this person, realizes the error of their mistake. This person realizes the error of his or her mistakes, as you know, that's just not cool. However, with that in mind, we will actually read the Catholic Bible, or I'm not sure it's Catholic, but it's a Bible for sure, and it's in German, and we will try our best to read it, or I will try my best, because I mean you're not reading it. If you can understand it, well then, good for me, man. I am, whatever. Okay, so actually, give me 1 second. All right, I'm back. Um, so yeah. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. BibleGateway.com/passage/ a string of letters. So, one Mos one. Also, I don't know how to say numbers. So I'm just gonna say the English version. Okay, so die Urzeit von der Schöpfung bis Abraham. I will read this for about 5 minutes and then I'll switch to Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged. Okay, so der Anfang der Welt. Gott erschwelt Himmel und Erde. Im Anfang schuf Gott die Himmel und die Erde. Der erste Tag. Die Erde aber war wüst und leer, und es lag Finsternis auf der Tiefe. Und der Geist Gott schwebte über den Wassern. Und Gott sprach, es wird Licht, und es wurde Licht. Und Gott sah, dass da Licht gut war. Da schied Gott das Licht von der Finsternis. Und Gott nannte das Licht Tag, und die Finsternis nannte er Nacht. Und es wird Abend, und es wird Morgen, der ist Tag. Der zweite Tag, und Gott sprach, es wird und aus den Mitte der Wasser die Bilder einsteigen zwischen den Wassern. Und Gott machte die aus den Hang und schied das Wasser unter der aus man, how, aus den Hang von dem Wasser über der aus den why are these words so unnecessarily complicated to pronounce? Und es geschah so. Und Gott nannte die aus den Himmel. Und es wird Abend, und es wird Morgen, der zweite Tag. Der dritte Tag. Und Gott sprach, es sammle sich das Wasser unter dem Himmel an einen Ort, damit man das trocken sähe. Und es geschah so. Und Gott nannte das Trockenerd, aber die Sammlung der Wasser nannte er Meer. Und Gott sah, dass es gut war. Und Gott sprach, die Erde lasse Gras sprich. Wait, what does that B thing sound like? Hold on, let me remember from my German Duolingo. It's like a sound. Okay, so die Erde las Gras sprießen und Gewachs, das Samen hervorbringt, fruchttragende Baum auf der Erde, von denen jeder, is that how you pronounce it? Sein Frucht bringt nach seiner Art, und denen ihr samist. Und es geschah so, geschah so, I don't know, geschah so. Und Die Erd brachte Gras und what? Körper, das Samentragt nackt sein Rat und Baum, die Früchte bringen, in denen ihr Same ist nackt ihrer Art. Und Gott sah, das ist gut wahr. Und es wird Abend, und es wird Morgen, die dritte Tag. How much more do I have to keep reading this? Okay, we'll read a little bit more. Die Werttag und Gott sprach, es sollen Lichter an der Himmel. Oh my God, how am I supposed to say that? Himmel saß Dächern sein, zur Unterscheidung von Tag und Nacht. Die sollen als Zeichen dienen und zur Bestimmung der Sitten und der Tag und Jahre. Und als Leuchten an der Himmel saß Dächern, dass sie der Erd beleuchten. Und es geschah so. Und Gott machte, I don't know, man. I'm trying my best to make my best German accent, but I'm very sorry if this is bad. Die zwei großen Lichter, das große Licht zur Beherrschung des Tages und das kleine Licht zur Beherrschung der Nacht. Dazu die Sterne. Und Gott setzte sie an die Himmelsdämmung, damit sie die Erde beleuchten und den Tag und die Nacht beherrschen und Licht und Finsternis scheiden. Und Gott sah, das ist gut war. Und es wird Abend und es wird Morgen, der vierte Tag. So, I will read no more of this. I will now switch over to Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged. Okay, yeah, it's working now. Okay, Atlas Shrugged. If you wish to follow along, go ahead. What the hell? Okay. I don't remember where we left last. Okay, so we were somewhere around here. No, that's way too far. Okay, there we go. Um, sorry. Alright, sorry for the interruption. So, I think I might have found it, so... Okay. And I lost my spot again. Nice. Okay, so... The building stood over the street as its tallest and proudest structure. Eddie Willers always smiled at its first sight of it. Its long bands of windows were unbroken, in contrast to those of its neighbors. Its rising lines cut the sky with no crumbling corners or worn edges. It seemed to stand above the years, untouched. It would always stand there, thought Eddie Willers. Whenever he entered the Taggart building, he felt relief and a sense of security. This was a place of competence and power. The floors of its hallways were mirrors made of marble. The frosted rectangles of its electric fixtures were chips of solid light. Behind sheets of glass, rows of girls sat at typewriters, the clicking of their keys like the sound of speeding train wheels, and like an answering echo, a faint shudder went through the walls at times, rising from under the building, from the tunnels of the great terminal where trains started out to cross the continent, and stopped after crossing it again, as they had started and stopped for generation after generation. Taggart Transcontinental, thought Eddie Willers, from ocean to ocean. The proud slogan of his childhood, so much more shining and holy than any commandment of the Bible. From ocean to ocean, forever, thought Eddie Willers, in a matter of rededication, as he walked through the spotless halls into the heart of the building. to the office of James Taggart, president of Taggart Transcontinental. James Taggart sat at his desk. He looked like a man approaching his 50 who had crossed into age from adolescence without the intermediate stage of youth. He had a small, petulant mouth and thin hair clinging to a bald forehead. His posture had a limp, decentralized sloppiness, as if in defiance of his tall, slender body, a body with an elegance of line intended for the confident poise of an aristocrat, but transfilled into the gawkiness of a lout. The flesh of his face was pale and soft. His eyes were pale and veiled with a glance that moved slowly, never quite stopping, gliding off and past things in eternal resentment of their existence. He looked obstinate and drained. He was 39 years old. He lifted his head with irritation at the sound of the opening door. "Don't bother me, don't bother me, don't bother me," said James Taggart. Eddie Willers walked toward the desk. "It's important, Jim," he said, not raising his voice. All right. What is it?" Eddie Willers looked at the map on the wall of the office. The map's colors had faded under the glass. He wondered dimly how many Taggart presidents had sat before it, and for how many years. The Taggart Transcontinental Railroad, the network of red lines slashing the faded body of the country from New York to San Francisco, looked like a system of blood cells. It looked as if once long ago the blood had shut down the main artery, and under the pressure of its overabundance, had branched out at random points, running all over the country. One red streak twisted its way from Cheyenne, Wyoming, down to El Paso, Texas, the Rio Norte line of Taggart Transcontinental. New tracing had been added recently, and the red streak had been extended south beyond El Paso. But Eddie Willers turned away hastily when his eyes reached that point. Sorry for the interruption once more. Where were we? Yeah, there we go. He looked at James Taggart and said, it's the Rio Norte line." He noticed Taggart's glance moving down to a corner of his desk. "We've had another wreck. Railroad accidents happen every day. Did you have to bother me about that? You know what I'm saying, Jim. The Rio Norte is done for. That track is shot. Down the whole line. We are getting a new track." Eddie Willers continued as if there had been no answer. "That track is shot. There is no use trying to run trains down there. People are giving up trying to use them. There is not a railroad in the country. It seems to me that doesn't have a few branches running at a deficit. We're not the only ones. It's a national condition, a temporary national condition." Eddie stood, looking at him silently. What Taggart disliked about Eddie Willers was his habit of looking straight into people's eyes. These eyes were blue, wide, and questioning. He had blond hair and a square face, unremarkable except for that of a scrupulous attentiveness and open, puzzled wonder. "What do you want?" snapped Taggart. "I just came to tell you about something you had to know, because someone had to tell you. That we've got another accident? That we can't give up the Rio Norte line." James Taggart seldom raised his head. When he looked at people, he did so by lifting his heavy eyelids and staring upward from under the expanse of his bald forehead. "Who's thinking of giving up the Rio Norte line?" he asked. "There's never been any question of giving it up. I resent your saying it. I resent it very much. But we haven't met a schedule for the last 6 months. We haven't... Wait. No, yeah. But we haven't met a schedule for the... We haven't met... Oh my god. My bad. I resent... we haven't completed a run without some sort of breakdown, major or minor. We're losing all of our shippers, one after another. How long can we last? You're a pessimist, Eddie. You lack faith. That's what undermines the morale of an organization. You... Oh, sorry. You mean that nothing's going to be done about the Rio Norte line? I haven't said that at all. Just as soon as we get the new track. Jim, there isn't going to be any new track. He watched Taggart's eyelids move up slowly. I just came back from the office of Associated Steel. I've spoken to Orrin Boyle. What'd he say? He spoke for an hour and a half. Did not give me a single straight answer. What did you bother him for? I believe the first order of rail wasn't due for delivery until next month, and before that was due for delivery 3 months ago. Unforeseen circumstances, absolutely beyond Orrin's control. And before that, it was due 6 months earlier, Jim. We've waited for Associated Steel to deliver that rail for 13 months. What do you want me to do? I can't run Oren Boyle's business. I want you to understand that we can't wait. Taggart asked slowly, his voice half mocking, half cautious. What did my sister say? She won't come back until tomorrow. Well, then, what do you want me to do? That's for you to decide. Well, whatever you say, there's only one thing you're not going to mention next. That's Reardon Steele. Eddie did not answer at once. Then he said quietly, All right, Jim, I won't mention it. Oren is my friend. He heard no answer. I resent your attitude. Oren Boyle will deliver that rail just as soon as it's humanly possible. So long as he can't deliver it, no one can blame us. Jim, what are you talking about? Don't you understand that the real Norte line is breaking up, whether anyone blames us or not? People put up with it. They'd have to, if it weren't for the Phoenix Durango. He said. Eddie's face tightened. No one ever complained about the real Norte line until the Phoenix Durango came on the screen. The Phoenix Durango is doing a brilliant job. Imagine a thing called Phoenix Durango competing with Taggart Transcontinental. It was nothing but a local milk line 10 years ago. It's got most of the freight traffic of Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado now. Taggart did not answer. Jim, we can't lose Colorado. It's our last hope. That's everybody's last hope. If we don't pull ourselves together, we'll lose every big shipper in the state to the Phoenix Durango. You've lost the wide oil fields. I don't see why everyone keeps talking about the wide oil fields. Because Ellis Wyatt is a prodigy. Damn Ellis Wyatt! Those oil wells, Eddie thought suddenly, didn't they have something in common with the blood vessels on the map? Wasn't that the way the red stream of Taggart Transcontinental had shot across the country years ago? A feat that seemed incredible now. He thought of the oil wells spouting a black stream that ran over a continent almost faster than the trains of the Phoenix Durango could carry. The oil fields had only been a rocky patch in the mountains of Colorado, given up as exhausted long ago. Ellis Wyatt's father had managed to squeeze an obscure living to the end of his days out of the dying oil wells. Now it was as if someone had given a shot of adrenaline to the heart of the mountain. The heart had started pumping. The black blood had burst through the rocks. Of course it's blood, thought Eddie Willers, because blood is supposed to feed, to give life. That is what Wyatt Oil had done. It had shocked empty slopes of ground into sudden existence. It had brought many new towns, new power plants, new factories to a region nobody had ever noticed on any map. New factories sought Eddie Willers at a time when the freight revenues from all the great oil industries were dropping slowly, year by year. A rich new oil field, at a time when the pumps were stopping in one famous field after another. A new industrial state where nobody had expected anyone but cattle and beets. One man had done it, and he had done it in 8 years. This, thought Eddie Willer, was like the stories he read in school books and never quite believed. The stories of men who had lived in the days of the country's youth. He wished he could have met Ellis Wyatt. There was a great deal of talk about him, but few had ever met him. He seldom came to New York. They said he was 33 years old and had a violent temper. He had discovered some way to revive the exhausted oil wells, and he had proceeded to revive them. Ellis Wyatt is a greedy bastard who's after nothing but money, said James Taggart. It seems to me that there are more important things in life than making money. What are you talking about, Jim? What does that have to do with? Besides, he's double-crossed us. We served the Wyatt oil fields for years, most adequately. In the days of Old Man Wyatt, we ran a tank train in a week. These are not the days of Old Man Wyatt, Jim. The Phoenix Durango runs two tank trains a day down there, and it runs them on schedule. If he had given us time to grow along with him, he has no time to waste. What does he expect? That we drop all our other shippers, sacrifice the interests of the whole country, and give him all our trains? Why, no, he doesn't expect anything. He just deals with the Phoenix Durango. I think he's a destructive, unscrupulous ruffian. I think he's an irresponsible upstart who's been grossly overrated. It was astonishing to hear in a sudden emotion in James Taggart's lifeless voice. I'm not sure that his oil fields are such a beneficial achievement. It seems to me he's dislocated the economy of the whole country. Nobody expected Colorado to become an industrial state. How can we have any security or plan anything if everything changes all the time? Good God, Jim, yes, I know, he's making money. But that is not the standard, it seems to me, by which one gauges a man's value to society. And for his oil, he'd come crawling to us, and he'd wait his turn along with all the other shippers, and he wouldn't demand more than his fair share of transportation if it weren't for the Phoenix Durango. We can't help it if we're against that destructive competition of that kind. Nobody can blame us. Oh my god, my voice, my throat. Whew. Alright, I'm gonna leave it off there. If you made it this far, whoever you may be, but I would certainly hope, Zonica Birchall, please say a comment that you made it this far. Yep, that's all. Goodbye. Also, you're gay.